What if the key to fighting one of the world's most feared diseases wasn't some complex, high-tech drug, but something you probably already have in your kitchen? Today, we're diving into a really controversial source text about an Italian oncologist whose simple theory on cancer set off an absolute firestorm. This is a story about baking soda, a powerful industry, and an idea that just refuses to die. And it all starts right here, with this one simple observation. At the very heart of this whole story is a claim from a trained oncologist who looked at cancer tissue and saw something that, well, didn't quite line up with the textbooks. He saw something he believed behaved not like rogue human cells, but like a fungus. So, to really get this idea, we have to understand the man behind it. And as our source explains, this wasn't some outsider. This was a medical professional working deep inside the conventional system. Let's meet him. Dr. Tullio Simoncini, a trained Italian oncologist. Now, his theory wasn't just born out of thin air. It came from what he was seeing with his own eyes in the clinic. He watched tumors act like an invasive organism, colonizing, spreading, and thriving in the exact kind of low-oxygen acidic environments that fungi absolutely love. Okay, so this is where the theory really clicks into place. It's like a showdown between two opposing forces. On one side, you've got the environment that cancer supposedly loves. It's acidic, it feeds on sugar, it ferments. And on the other side, the effect of plain old sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. It does the exact opposite. It creates an alkaline environment, basically shutting that acidic terrain right down. His entire theory hangs on this simple opposition. So if that's the problem, what was the solution he proposed? The source describes this really fascinating strategy, one that's framed as just pure common sense, a kind of Trojan horse to attack cancer on its own turf. This quote from the source just nails it. The real innovation, as the source puts it, wasn't just what to use, but how to deliver it. The whole idea was to turn the cancer cell's own biggest craving against itself. So here's how this Trojan horse is supposed to work step by step. First up, the bait. You use honey or molasses to lure in those sugar-hungry cancer cells. Then the cell opens right up to gulp down that sweet mixture. But surprise, hidden inside is the baking soda. And once it's in, that alkalinity is released, totally disrupting the cell's cozy acidic home from the inside out. It's a strategy designed to exploit the cell's own addiction. Now, with a theory this simple, you might expect the medical world to be at least a little curious, right? Well, according to the source, the reaction was swift and it was severe. The system didn't just disagree, it struck back. Hard. And this is the central question the source text keeps asking. I mean, even if there was just a tiny chance this observation was valid, why was it met with hostility instead of curiosity? The author argues the answer has very little to do with science and everything to do with money. Instead of a scientific debate, the source alleges Simoncini faced some devastating consequences. We're talking his medical license was revoked. He was prosecuted in court, even imprisoned. The author describes a relentless campaign of character assassination that basically erased his work from the official conversation. So why such a harsh response? The source offers a pretty blunt explanation. The solution just wasn't profitable. Baking soda costs pennies. You can't patent it. You can't own it. The argument is that this simple idea wasn't seen as a potential breakthrough, but as a direct threat to the piggy bank of a massive industry built on expensive, patentable drugs. But despite that official pushback, the idea didn't just vanish. It kind of went underground, surviving for decades in alternative health circles. So let's explore why the source argues this controversial theory is still around. The author shares this really powerful memory from their childhood, watching a healer in a Moroccan market take some simple white powder and just magically clean stained teeth. That image of a simple, cheap substance creating such a dramatic effect, it became a kind of mental anchor for this core idea that powerful remedies aren't always complicated. The source basically says Simoncini wasn't wrong. He was just early. And it points out that today, mainstream science is openly talking about things like the tumor microenvironment, acidity, and metabolic problems. The very same concepts that were at the core of Simoncini's controversial theory decades ago. Ultimately, the source concludes that the idea survives because its logic is just so simple and because it directly challenges the status quo. It's a testament to the belief that some truths, no matter how inconvenient they are, just have a way of resurfacing. Now, Having explored the theory and the whole controversy, it is absolutely vital we're all on the same page about what this story is and what it is not. The source text itself provides a critical disclaimer, and it's essential context for everything we've just talked about. So let's be perfectly clear, because this information is presented as an explanation of a principle and its history. It is not instruction, it is not a treatment protocol, and it is absolutely not a medical claim. Our purpose here is simply to explore a controversial idea and the story behind it. That's it. And so we're left with this. Beyond the specifics of baking soda and honey, the story of Tullio Simoncini, as it's told in this text, forces us to ask a much, much bigger question. What happens when a simple idea threatens a powerful system? It's a question about science, money, and power that feels just as relevant today as it ever was.